What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I hope you like this video. So this is, it says it is the continuation. So we have Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season 10 episode 14. So listen, everybody's back. The gang's all back together. They're all down to, well, not everybody, but the majority of them. They're all down to a show for Rennie Rucci, who we met last season, but she didn't really film with anybody last season. I guess that was because of the Roni or whatever. But she is filming with them this season, and they're bringing her in through Sierra. Her and Sierra met on Instagram because Sierra reached out to her about working on one of her, when she was trying to launch her cosmetic line. And so she has a concert, and Shakana, Carly, Erica, Rashida, Kirk, Spice. I think that's everybody, child. They were down at the concert, and again, we just, you know how they do, we just catching up. Yay, hey, everybody's doing, everybody's good, blah blah blah. So, we just gonna pretend like we believe these storylines, cause. So, like I said, we're just getting caught up. We found out that Erica and Shakana have stayed cool and stayed friends since they did the family reunion. We know that, you know, they were down at the family reunion. They was cool or whatever. We found out that since we got back from the family reunion, Erica and Safari, you know, they ended the family reunion in a good spot. But once they got back to Atlanta, she said things went downhill. She found out that he was just basically sleeping with a lot of people. And they tried to tell her, girl, you filed for divorce. Like, you filed for divorce. You technically can't really get mad that the man was sleeping around when you filed for divorce. And she was like, well, I just feel like that he always wanted to do that anyway. And so that was just his excuse. And I'm like, but he didn't. Like, you filed for divorce. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I know they got other problems other than that. But anyway, so that's just kind of where they are, whatever, with that. So we know that Erica, I mean, we know now because they're divorced in real life. So they just not in a good space or whatever. Spice album is doing really, really well. It's #1 on the charts. So of course that's just a great thing with that. Kirk and Rashida, child, Kirk and Rashida. I guess that's everybody, child. Carly is buying up investment property for her and her daughter. She's building up her wealth. So that's kind of what happened in the first scene. So then we found out that Jock and Kendra have set a date for the wedding. They been engaged for 3 years, and because of, you know, the Roni, they were going to do a destination wedding in St. Lucia, but they had to keep changing the date, and finally they just said, forget it, we're going to go ahead and get married here in Atlanta. But they sort of put it on an accelerated schedule because Kendra is one of those people that reads the stars, and she said they have to do it when Mercury is not in retrograde, because if they do it while Mercury is in retrograde, then it's going to fail, because that's what happens when you do things while Mercury is in retrograde. I don't follow these things, so I didn't know. Okay. Jack is talking about how expensive the wedding is, how much it's costing him because they're trying to do it on this accelerated schedule. But, you know, he ready to get married. He loved Kendra. He said, you know, we done been through our ups and our downs, but she the woman I want to be with, and I can't wait for this wedding to be over. She don't have her dress. He ain't got his tux, but the wedding is in 3 weeks. Now, she said, well, Carly's not invited to the wedding, and Jock was like, all right. Like, I'm supposed to complain that my ex-girlfriend ain't gonna be invited to my wedding? Like, I wouldn't expect her to be. Then she found out that she reached out to his wife, his baby mama, and she said, I tried to call her, but she said, well, I don't have a phone number for her, so I reached out to her on Instagram, so she DM'd her about his daughters being in the wedding. Now, first of all, a couple of issues with that. Issue number one, you might not have her phone number, but your soon-to-be husband should. Number two, why don't you have her phone number? Like, he has young daughters. Y'all been together for like 5 years. Why don't you have a way to contact her? Call me crazy, but I just feel like, if nothing else, just for the purposes of us being able to co-parent. But anyway, and she said she hasn't responded yet. Number three, why you just ain't get Jock to reach out to her if you want the babies in the wedding? Like, there's a lot of things with that, but okay, girl, okay. And Jock said the same thing. He was like, why would you DM her like we strangers or something? Like why are you DMing her? Like, that's crazy. But anyway, so we find out that's what's going on, and they all stressed out about the wedding, child. Everybody stressed out about the wedding, child. So then we're on a video shoot with Miss Spice. She is filming a video. She did a collab with an artist by the name, what they call her Mother Africa. Her real name is like Yenny something else, but she got like 15,000 followers on Instagram. She is definitely like a major artist out of Nigeria, and so this is another great thing for Spice in her career. We see her talking to a friend of hers who her name is Mina. She's an A&R person. She's worked with the who's who in hip hop, and she's a member of the Grammy committee, or the Grammy, whatever the proper name is, and she actually put Spice's album in for a Grammy, and Spice said she said no female artist has ever been nominated for Dancehall Album of the Year, much less won. So it means a lot that she would be, considered for the Grammy. I mean, just because she put her name in doesn't mean she's going to get the nomination, but she said it means a lot to even for her to put her name in, for it. But what we find out is, here's where the bull hockey comes in with the season, is where the storylines come in. Allegedly, this woman has been sleeping with Jock for the last 13 years, which absolutely overlaps his relationship with Kendra. It actually overlaps his relationship with Cardi. But, child, we know that was a whole mess. Anyway, him and Cardi was a whole mess to begin with. But she tells Spice this, and Spice is like, girl, why are you telling? Because Spice said something about going to Jock's wedding. And she was like, why are you telling me this? Like, I'm going to this man's wedding. Like, I'm cool with him. I've been around his soon-to-be wife. Like, why would you tell me this? And she was like, I mean, you brought it up. Like, I didn't say nothing. You said something. So we see her with Shekinah. Shekinah says, listen, girl, I'm so proud of you. I want to have a party for you. I want to throw a party for you. And, to celebrate her album being, her album success. And in that conversation, she tells Shekinah about what she found out about Mila messing with Jock. And of course, Shekinah was like, why you telling me this? Like, I'm cool with Jock. We going to the wedding. Like, why would this... First of all, why is she coming out of here now? Which is what I'm thinking. Like, why all of a sudden now you want to put in your 2 cents about sleeping with this man? And 2... why she telling you, and why are you telling me? Because now you done put me in the middle of something that I don't want to have nothing to do with. You in the middle of it. They get married in 3 weeks. Like, at this point, it is what it is. Like, so Shekinah was like, see, here go the mess. You know how Shekinah is. Here go the mess. She said, you ain't no Spice. Spice, you had to know. That's your best friend. Now, I don't know how this woman became her friend or her best friend, but neither here nor there. She said, you had to have known. You had to have known. You had to have known. So... Shekinah upset, Spice is upset, and child, we're going to get to that. Now, we meet up with the guys. We have Mendices. We got Kirk meeting up with Safari down in his studio. And basically, we just get Safari's side of the same story, that him and Erica ain't in a good space. He felt like that him being married stifled his creativity, and now he's ready to get back to the music. He said that things happened really quick with him and Erica, and maybe that's why, it didn't really work out. It just kind of was accelerated. They just kind of went too fast. Mendices talk about how life is great in Atlanta. They buying property. They get ready to open up a restaurant. Everything is everything. Kirk ain't really saying too much in that chat. Safari asking Kirk, what's it like to be America's most wanted, most hated? He said, you went through that where everybody hated you. Like, how did you deal with it? He was like, people are yelling at me in the airport, telling me to take care of my kids and stuff because of the stuff that Erica done put out there, and it ain't even like that. And, now, people hating on me and I feel some kind of way about it. And Kirk was like, listen, you just got to ride it out. Like, basically, you just gotta ride it out. And yeah, unfortunately, every time Erica get mad, she gonna go to social media. People are gonna believe what they want to believe. Like, either you believe it or you don't. Like, people are gonna want to believe what they want to believe. But that's pretty much what it is. So that's what we see with the guys. So we go back over to Sierra. Sierra and her man, they bought a house together. It's supposed to be like their dream house. But they're not getting along. Now here's the problem. Sierra was like, you really don't know somebody till you move in with them. We're living together now. We bought this house together. And they've been renovating the house. And he said, nothing is, like, Sierra don't like nothing. Like, I'm spending money to renovate this house, and she hates everything. Now, they get to fighting over the glam room. Sierra wants a particular room for a glam room. He already got his equipment moved in there for the gym. Now, here's the thing I'm going to say. when you buy a house with somebody, like, there's certain conversations you should have before y'all start moving in furniture. If the man has already put his gym equipment in this room, I feel like he's claimed it. This is a huge house. I'm sure there are all kinds of rooms that you can use for your glam. And she starts talking about how she's glamorous and how she got to have people that come in to do her hair, her nails, her makeup, do her feet. And that room is too small. She said, you can move your equipment in the room. This room is too small. So they're arguing over it. And my thing is, I just feel like it's a stupid argument. So then she starts breaking down about how she got a lot going on. She's stressed out. Her mama drinking. She don't feel comfortable in the house. That's why she goes back to her condo and stay with her mama. She talked about how her sisters are still beefing. So she got a lot going on, and I don't know if she's taking it out on him or the two of them just now that they're living together. Things just ain't clicking. You know, again, she had just gotten out of a relationship with BK where they were engaged and they was all in love one minute, broken up the next minute, in love, broken up. So, you know, I think she jumped into that situation with this new guy way too fast. She said he had his stuff together and she was learning a lot from him. And I think that they really were in love, but just doing too much, too soon, too fast, too whatever, you know. So, anyway, he says, you know, I mean, is this what it's going to be like to be married? She was like, I guess. And he was like, well, maybe we shouldn't get married. She was like, well, fine, don't marry me then. I don't know if that's officially calling off the engagement or what. I don't know, child. We see Jock going and trying on tuxes with his guys to get, you know, they looking for their suits for the wedding. And here comes Rich Dollars. So they done brought Rich Dollars to Atlanta. Now, Rich said, I'm not one of these people that's moving to Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta for 45 years. My dad's from Atlanta. I grew up here, you know. And as far as my relationship with Jock, he was my artist when I was working for Def Jam or Bad Boy or whatever he was working for. He was like, you know, do your research. So I guess they have a legitimate connection. I guess Rich is gonna be on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta now, which further solidifies that the New York franchise is dead. Like, you done moved Yandy, you done moved Safari and Erica, you done moved, now you've moved Rich Dollars. Like, those are the OGs of the franchise, Erica, you know, Yandy, Rich Dollars. So I'm guessing that franchise is dead, at least for now it is. So anyway, Jock is talking about how he's ready for this to happen, how, you know, him and Kendra done been through their ups and their downs, but, you know, he ready. He been maturing. He ain't in them streets no more. That ain't what Mila's saying. So, we end up at Spice's party that Shekinah's throwing for her, and everybody shows up, and guess who shows up? Mila. Surprise, surprise. Carly shows up. Like I said, the usual suspects are there, child. Spice shows up and they get to talking about how long, because Spice says, oh, Carly, Mila dated Jock too. And of course they like, what? You dated Jock? Oh my goodness, everybody dated Jock. Jock. Well, we found out that Carly Red jumped out of one of the cakes down to Jock's, bachelor party, back to his bachelor party. She was, you know, and she said that he basically invited her to come back and, you know, hook up after the party. She said Jock ain't ready to get married. Jock's still out in these streets. He's still a hoe. And she said, well, when did you date Jock? And she was like, well, I started in, and she started counting the years 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. And they were like, she got all the way up to 2018. And they were like, wait a minute, 2018? They were like, so then she said 2019. She said things fell off a little bit in 2020. But, so they were like, wait a minute. He was with Kendra then. So, has it been 2020? Now, she said they was messing with each other all the way up to 2020. But I feel like if he been with Kendra for 5 years, you could have probably, hell, they've been engaged for 3. So, of course, now they comparing notes. Spice done got irritated because she was like, this supposed to be my party. Now this whole thing is about Jock and his women. But my thing is, you started it. There was no reason for you to say, Oh yeah, Carly, she used to date Jock too. When you already knew that the dates wasn't gonna line up, you already knew this was gonna be a situation. Girl, bye. Anyway, that was the episode. Now we just gonna pretend like we believe these storylines. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.